What if the very thing your acting class praised is the exact thing hurting your auditions? Today, we're talking about the disconnect between acting training and actually getting cast. And trust me, this conversation it might sting a little, but it may also completely change how you approach your work. This is Casting Actors Cast.
Casting actors cast, what a show! With Jeffrey Dreisbach, we're ready to go. From agents to gigs, learn what you lack. Tune in every week, we're bringing you back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Casting Actors Cast. I'm Jeff Dreisbach, former actor. Are you always a former actor? Is there such a thing? Well, I was an actor, teacher, casting director, author, podcaster, occasionally over-caffeinated observer of things strange actors do. Uh, in any case, today we are discussing something that I have been thinking about for, oh, really, honestly, for years. Why is it that some actors who are absolutely brilliant in class struggle terribly in auditions? Meanwhile, other actors who maybe, oh, I don't know, aren't the most emotionally explosive people in the room walk in and book. Why is that? Why does that happen? Now, before anyone throws a copy of Stanislavski at my head, this is not an anti-training episode. Believe me, training matters. Craft matters. Technique matters. But somewhere along the way, a lot of actors accidentally begin training for acting class instead of training for professional performance. And those are not always the same thing. Let's discuss it. But first, this is that moment of the conversation where I get to say thank you so much for tuning into Casting Actors Cast. We continue to do these podcast episodes on a weekly basis. I invite you to check out the website, castingactorscast.com. You're going to find all kinds of information there. My book is out. I have an audio book of the same book, so it's a kind of a book. Okay, never mind. In any case, there's also a form that says dive into the talent pool. If you fill that out, that'll open up some freebies. One is a video called Casting Secrets, What They Don't Tell You. And then there's also a free 100-page PDF book called Conversation Pieces Out of the Studio, the voiceover workshop for professional actors. So if you're interested in voiceover work, you can have a free, comprehensive book that I think you'll get a lot out of it. Anyway, that's enough of the shameless promotional stuff, but I do just want to say, for those of you who have been listening to the podcast episodes, could you do me a huge favor? Could you leave me a like? Could you leave me a thumbs up? Could you, I don't know, maybe even write a review, especially on Apple iTunes? That makes a huge difference in my ranking. And as I continue to do these podcasts, I get excited about the audience that continues to grow, but you need to help me do that. It means a lot to me. So thank you very much. All right, so let's move into our first segment here. It's what I call the good actor trap. The good actor trap. And one of the biggest dangers actors face is becoming very good at looking like they are acting. Yeah, you know exactly what I mean. You know what I'm saying? The actor who breathes deeply before every line, looks emotionally devastated after ordering coffee, pauses dramatically before saying, hello, treats every scene like they're accepting an Oscar while trapped inside a tornado. Listen, we've all done it. Actors are emotional athletes. We care deeply. We want to create moving work. But here's the problem. And this is the truth. In professional auditions, casting isn't asking, can this actor demonstrate emotional intensity? They're not. They're asking, would I believe this person exists? Huge difference. Some actors enter auditions like they're defending a doctoral thesis in sadness. And meanwhile, another actor walks in, behaves truthfully, stays simple, listens, affects the other person, and then books the job. That is the disconnect we're talking about. Moving on from there, classroom acting versus camera acting. Now, this kind of gets tricky because acting classes often reward effort, especially emotional effort. The actor crying in class may receive quite a bit of attention. The actor that is screaming may seem committed. The actor emotionally unraveling in a scene may appear brave. But camera acting is different. The camera loves specificity. They love behavior, thought, restraint, thoughtful need, not theatrical demonstration. The camera sees everything, including when you are trying too hard. Well, especially when you're trying too hard. And here is the uncomfortable truth. A lot of actors are addicted to feeling emotional instead of doing something meaningful. That's huge. Reality check. Okay, real casting room truth here. The actors who consistently work, they are often simpler than you think. They're not trying to show the performance. They are pursuing something, affecting someone, staying grounded, remaining available moment to moment. And because of that, they feel alive. Compare that to the actor who is demonstrating. Emotion often feels planned, and planned acting rarely feels dangerous. Truthfully, the most exciting auditions I ever see are the ones in which something spontaneous happens in the audition. It's as if the actor comes into the audition thinking to themselves, I've done the work. Now let's just play. Let's just see what happens. That is really cool, especially when it surprises even the actor in the scene. In other words, they're so committed to having a good time or making fun choices without planning those choices. It really does create an electric environment, an electric atmosphere. Moving on from there, let's call this little segment here School is Over. This next part, it might seem a little harsh. An audition is not a grade. Nobody is sitting there with a rubric saying, excellent emotional tension, slightly weak eyebrow work, wonderful sadness posture. That's not happening. But many actors still audition like nervous students. They walk into the room thinking, please approve of me. And you know what? That energy changes everything because, truthfully, actors seeking approval, they become careful. Careful acting is usually dead acting. Okay, somebody write that down. That was really good. I guess what I'm trying to say is professional actors don't walk in trying to be good. They walk in trying to do something. And that shift matters enormously. What does casting actually respond to? I'm going to have that answer right after this brief message. So, what does casting respond to? Truthfully, here's the answer: behavior, specific behavior rooted in human need, not generalized emotion. For example, instead of, I'm sad, the actor is trying to stop this person from leaving me. Make sense? You see, that becomes playable. Suddenly, the performance becomes active. Now we're watching persuasion, pressure, vulnerability, humor, manipulation, charm, denial. And guess what? That's human behavior, and human behavior is infinitely more watchable than emotional indication. So let's start the beginning of a different approach. Because over the years, working in casting rooms and classrooms, I started noticing patterns. The actors who booked most often weren't necessarily the loudest or the most emotional or the most technical. They were usually behavior driven, specific, emotionally available, deeply connected to what they needed, focused on the other person. And that realization started changing how I teach. You see, instead of asking, how should this feel? I began asking, what are you trying to get? You see, that one shift changes everything. And now I actually have a quick exercise that I want you to try. Try this tonight. I want you to take a scene and I want you to cross out every emotional adjective. In other words, no angry, sad, nervous, devastated. Instead, ask, what am I trying to get from the other person? Then play only that. Watch what happens. Your work will likely become simpler, clearer, more dangerous, more believable, and honestly, probably more castable. Now, let me just be really clear here. Great acting training absolutely matters. It does. And if you're not enrolled in a class right now, what are you waiting for? I think that classes are the single best thing that are not only emotionally exciting and purposeful, and I believe that acting classes are an investment in you. And boy, oh boy, that has dividends, believe me. But I don't think that training should just not become, oh, I don't know, emotional gymnastic. You see, acting is not emotional decoration. It's human behavior under pressure. Let me tell you, that's what audiences connect to. That's what cameras respond to. And that's what casting directors love to see. And yes, that's also true that that's what casting actually remembers, honestly. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Jeff Dreisbach. This is Casting Actors Cast. Keep learning, keep growing, keep showing up. Really. And remember, you are not there to perform emotion. You are there to affect another human being. I'll see you next time.
From monologues to screams.